I will be. Hello, friends. Today we will be discussing little what I have given yesterday. Yesterday I have given explanation regarding the system, outer system, and as well as the system of individualness. Okay. When we come across this, we come across the administrative as well. What is the administrative mean? As well, when we come across the individuality, we come across the yesterday's explanation. I have given the administration of our own individuality. Let us today discuss with the administration of the environmental administration. That means the constitutional administration. Our own society. What is the responsibility? What are the administrative stages of our own self? And administrative state of the what the position constitution has provided to each one of us. Let us we discuss related to the what I have explained yesterday with the error and the viruses. Errors and viruses. Okay, error is made of frameworks we come across, and the viruses from the outside. What is this outside and the error of the framework? Let us we discuss today. So when we come across this to come related to the explanation, we first today we will be taking the viruses of entering the system as a explanation of a beginning. Then we come across the errors, so that we can be able to understand what is the main theme of the explanation with related to environmental position of a constitution which provides for the particular individualness. Okay, let us we discuss our with regarding the viruses. What is the residential viruses? What is the residential viruses? I have given a being in a system, making all the possibility with regarding the negativity. Understand it? Okay. So file infecting virus. What is the file infecting virus? What is the file infecting virus is nothing but the file infecting virus is nothing but it affect the execution of one's fundamentalism. What is the affecting of the one's fundamentalism with regarding the file affecting? The delay of work with a positioned person which is enveloped by the constitutional provisions with constitutional framework. The person who is having the constitutional position, delaying of that particular fundamentalism of an individualist is nothing but the file infecting viruses. So this is how the administration is coming with. This is how the file infecting virus as a corruption is coming in execution. This is what the corruption. Why the corruption is coming? There is a virus called a file infecting virus. What is this file infecting virus? File infecting virus is nothing but delaying of the position person which is given by the constitution. The framework of the position person is related to the constitution, but delaying of that particular position person with the fundamentalism of the one's individuality can making the infecting the administration. So this is how the file infecting virus is coming from the outside, as well as his own desire and a passion of having the rajas and tamas guna of his own self, having the having his own the position which he should be not having, but he is having that. Because of that negativity of his own self, he is implementing as a domination on others. Indirectly, it is a domination on others. Delaying of the work is nothing but a domination on others. To give the certain amount, certain entity certain entity to fulfill that particular work. Instead of making the instead of making the fulfillment what the framework the constitution has provided for him, instead of doing that, he is taking the demand, he is making the domination on fundamentalism. This is how the file infecting infecting viruses in the administration. So next we will be coming across the okay, let us resident. What is this resident? A little bit I have given the description about the residential virus. Same thing. Delaying of delay of the work is nothing but the delay of work of fundamental individuality is nothing but the residential virus. So when we come across this residential virus, the system, the individuality having the position of a constitutional, being in a system and making the effect of the domination on the fundamentalism with related to the certain kind of a position of individualness, certain kind of the position of individuals to approaching for a fundamentalism. Avoiding of these all things, the person is making the use of his own position with various dimension and making all the action regarding the residential viruses. So being in a system and making the influencing of the taking the influence from the constitution, taking the mask as a positive mask as a constitution, and making the various dimension of his own thinking of a various dimension, and making the delaying of fundamentalism of a individuality. This is what the residential virus is. File infecting virus is nothing but the position person is making the certain kind of situation which the individualness must be implementing the corrupt of his own self, as well as the position person of a desire. This is how the file infecting virus is. So position person is having the position person is having the right of making the making all the fulfillment with regarding to the constitutional way, what the framework the constitution has provided for him. Instead of making that all fulfillment, he is dominating the individualness and avoiding and the delaying and the deploying of certain things, and making the demand and the domination on particular on an individuality to take the action regarding his desire and a passion. This is how the file infecting virus is coming. This is how the corrupt mind is in the execution. So when we come across these all things, when we come across the file infecting viruses, the deployment of the position persons by the avoiding the individualness of one's avoiding the fundamentalism of one's individualness, there is a administrative failure, there is a corrupt minded. The same thing next we will come across the Trojan horse virus. What is this Trojan horse viruses? Trojan horse viruses is nothing but the installing of the malware to steal the data. What is the installment of the malware to steal the data? When the installment of the malware to steal data is nothing but one should take making the position person, understand it, making the constitutionally provided the framework of the constitution provided for the position person, making the person as his own administrative in execution with related to some situation is nothing but the Trojan horse. So Trojan horse is nothing but the Trojan horse is nothing but is one of the delay of the fundamentalism of oneself. The delaying of the fundamentalism of oneself is make of his own self as a position with the consequences with related to the constitutional and with related to the avoiding the fundamentals of one's individualities. So when we come across this, some of the individualness will come across the constitutionally as his own motivation. He come across the response to stimuli. Understand it. What is the response to stimuli? The unfulfillment of the fundamentalism which is provided by the constitution with the position person, but he is having the position, he is taking the position position of the constitutionally provided framework as the delay of a certain situation with regarding the avoiding of fundamentalism. There comes the individualness who is having the priority of the constitution of his own self as a motivation of his own self. He come across the response to stimuli. Recently we have come across the so many things which is very much noted in a public domain as the farmer protest in the Karnataka with related to the land. And the same thing we come across the Bihar case which is the administrative failure of the certain things. So one should understand this all thing, why this all are disharmony of the administration is taking place because of the response to stimuli. What is the response to stimuli is taking place? Why the response to stimuli is taking place? There is a mindset of corrupt. There is a mindset of the corrupt. So that the person who is making the constitutional as a preferentiable of his own self, avoiding all the such disharmony of the society, but instead of making this his own preferentiable, the responsible person who is having the constitutional framework of his own self to fulfill the fundamentalism of the individualness, he will not taking the action regarding that. Because of that, the response to stimuli is taking place with some of the action which is very unwantedly disharmony to the society. Here comes the various dimension of one's individuality as well as the various dimensions of the position person, which is provided by position person, which is provided by the constitutional framework. So position person who have the framework of constitution, he must make the action regarding the one's fulfillment of the fundamentalism. This is how the constitutional provides for one's individuality. So when we come across the Trojan horse and residential address as in administration and the file infecting viruses, we come across the administrative view. We come across the syntax, logical error, runtime error, and time limit exceeding error. What is the syntax error with related to the administrative way? What is the syntax error? The grammatical mistake Now I'm not telling that a mistake, but the way of converting, the way of the converting the position person, which is who is having the framework of the constitution, who is having the framework of the constitution to implement in a fundamentalism of one's execution. He is having the misleading of certain things. So because of that, he is avoiding the fundamentalism of his own self. I am talking with related to the administrative position, which is covered with the position of the framework of constitution. So logical error. What is the logical error? The logical error is nothing but the framework has set to the position, constitutionally positioned person. The framework has set to the positionally constitutional person. But avoiding these all things, avoiding the constitutional position person to fulfill the fundamentalism of the constitution, he is making the domination and the conversion and making the individual to dominate as the corrupt minded and the corrupt entity, taking the corrupting the administrative as a corrupt mindset. These all come because of the logical error, which is his own self. Logical error is not with the constitutional framework which is provided by the constitution, but his own self. This is how the desire and the passion of his own self, the position person. When we come across the runtime error, what is the runtime error? What is the runtime error with the position person? The runtime error of the position person is the delay of deploying the fundamentalism with one's individuality fundamentalism. Deploying and delaying the deployment of his own constitutional framework with regarding the one's fundamentalism of one's individuality. So this is what the runtime error with related to the administration. So for the position the constitution has provided the framework with particular position. Avoiding these all things, the administration has come with the certain things which is avoiding the fundamentals of one's individualness. So because of this, disharmony is taking place in a society. Why the disharmony is taking place with regarding the society? This is how the corrupt mind is coming. This is how the corrupt administration is in the execution. This is how the one should understand the what is the meaning of rights of oneself and what is the meaning of right of constitutionally provided position. So these all comes with only the understanding of the position person as well as the understanding of his own right. So one should understand these all things. Even though if the individuality has come with across the constitutionally providing the position with related to the some of the position person, the position person take the conversion with his own way. Why this all comes? Because of his own logical error, because of the ethical of his own understanding. He's not having the ethical of his own self. If the person is come with the ethicalness of his own understanding, he come with the understanding of the what the individual is coming with related to the position person, which is provided by the constitution. So person should be known, the individual and the position person. The individualness individually person and also the position person. Moreover, when we come across the individualness, more from the individualness, the position person should know the what is the meaning of the constitution, what is the framework which is provided by the constitution, with particularly and with related to the one's individualness. What is the fundamentalism of one's position in a, what the position he is provided for the constitutional with his own position, and also one's individuality position, individuality with a fundamentalism. This is how the constitutionally positioned person is related to, and same the one's individuality is related to the constitution. So this is how the mismatching of this, there is a there we come across the response to stimuli. Thus, response to stimuli is nothing. Recently, we come across the because Bihar case of some of the cases, Bihar case recently. The oftenly we notice that with certain cases which is very preferable with related to the response to stimuli. The recently we come across the current Karnataka protest of the farmer protest. Why this all this the when we come across the Karnataka farmer protest, we come across the runtime error. What is this runtime error? Runtime error is nothing but one should know, the position person should know that what the fundamentalism is, how the fundamental is should be provided to the one's individuality, and what is the action of the framework which is related to his own position. So why the protest is coming with, why the protest is coming with, and why the position person is refusing with. Let us we discuss of that also. When we come across the one's individuality as a protest, why the protest is coming with? There is a power of logical error of his own understanding, implementing and deploying of his own desire and deployment. If the position person comes with the deployment of the domination, the same thing, avoiding of the fundamentalism, the person of the individualist come with the certain stimulation, responsible, and the response to stimuli come across the movement of a right to movement, right to free right of protesting. Why this all come? This all comes with the constitutionally provided. Constitution has provided for one's individualness. The Constitution has provided one's individualness with the freedom of expression, the freedom of movement, and a freedom of residential, freedom of profession, and freedom of knowing. Let me give you some of them related to right of knowing, because there is a confusion between the one's position person with related to the framework of the Constitution, and with related to the fundamentalism of one's individual with the response of the position person. Let me give you the individualness. What is the responsible of the individualness in the moment of this context? Okay, let me give you that. The Constitution provides that a right to know. What it gives? A citizen has a right to know about the activities of the state, the instrumentalists, the department and the agencies of the states. The privilege of the secrecy which exists in an old time, that the state is not bounded to disclose the fact to the citizen, or the state cannot be compelled by the citizen to disclose the fact, does not survive now to a great extent. am I let us note it that does not survive now to a great extent. Under Article 19, there exists the right of freedom of a speech. Freedom of a speech is based on the foundation of a freedom of a right to know. Understand it, right to know. The state can impose and should impose reasonable restriction in the rights where it is affected the national security. It affect the national security or any matter affecting the national integrity. So when we come across these all things, the person, the protesters, what we come across the protesting of the farmer protesting, we come across the his own individualness. He coming with the execution of his own individualness. What he is coming with the individualness? Let us we give across the freedom of residential. What is this freedom of residential? He is having the authority of his own land. He is having the authority of his own land and having the freedom of profession. He have the freedom of his own cultivation. He has the freedom of his own cultivation of his own land. This is what the this is avoiding these all things with related to the position framework, constitution framework is giving the way to the protest. Okay, when we come across this freedom of expression with individualness and the freedom of movement of his own individualness, this is regarding one's individualness, right of this one's individualness with regarding one's fundamentalism, which is provided by the constitution. So knowing these all things is very much important with regarding to one's individualness of the constitution, what the framework decided by the constitution with one's individuality and what the framework with the position person is. One should know these all things to know the what is the administrative errors is, what is the one's fundamentally the error is, what is the viruses, how the viruses of administration is coming in execution, what the viruses, how the antiviruses should be implemented on a virus which is coming with the corrupt minded. One should understand these all things and make the understanding execution of his own self when we come across the protesting of the movement. So one should know all the errors of oneself with related to the position person. I'm talking with related to position person moreover the individualness, because administration is related to the position person, which is given by the framework which is given by the constitution, but not with related to our own individual. Only the few of the things which is very important of our own individualness to fulfill that. Surely the individualness will be fulfilling that. Surely the individualness will be fulfilling that, because he knows what is the execution should be done, what are the execution not to be done with related to the constitution. So position person is having the various dimension of his own protection, but avoiding these all things, one should know the fundamentalism of avoiding the fundamentalism of his own constitutional framework, avoiding the constitutional framework, avoiding of the constitutional framework of his own position. He come across all the way of disturbing of a fundamentalism of one's individuality. So one should know these all things. What are the response of the position, constitution, position person, and what is the response of his own one's individualness. So this is how the conflict of interest is commitment and interest will be coming in execution. This is how the one should be in a way of antivirus of constitution as our own antivirus in an administrative stage. So making the antivirus of our own administrative stage as our own framework, and Bhagavad Gita as our antivirus with our own individualness, we come across the once execution of a determined decision. So be on a series. I will be giving all the with related to the democratical way, and also with one's individuality. What is the execution of one's individuality with related to some of the facts with one's individuality of the thoughts, thinking, and what are the system, how the system should be taking the action with regarding, and what the response we should be taking with regarding. This all I will be making you show with related to the what are the positiveness of one's individuality, what are the negativeness of one's individuality, how the think of the negativity is approaching towards you, how the positive think is approaching towards you. I will make the analyzation of certain situation and make the understanding of the situation to analyze your own self and make the determined decision as a execution of your own self. So make the constitutionally framework as your own self with administrative way. Okay, be on a series so that we will be coming with regarding regarding the democratical way as a spiritual way, and also with regarding the systematic system which very preferenceable of recent eras. We come across the errors. Why this all explanation I have given with related to the errors and viruses and antivirus? Because the system, how the system works. So analyzation of the system can be implemented of our own self, because we can understand the system, what the programmatic of the system. The same programmatic system is related to ourselves, and as well as the system is related to the administration. So framework is very much important to understand. So I will be making the regarding the understanding of the framework with related to the certain situation, so that you will be coming with the understanding of the framework of one's individuality, the framework of the system, the framework of one's administrative stage. Be on a series so that I will be making you understand that. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.